Hey guys, glad to have you here. I'm gonna attempt something that maybe I shouldn't do, but I will attempt it nonetheless. Uh, Today we're gonna look at the marketing submission recommendations for a predetermined change control plan for artificial intelligence, machine learning enabled device software functions. This is the draft guidance from the FDA. And before I get into that, I just thought I would show you some other FDA pages that talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning enabled medical devices info, and they have a list of all the AI ML enabled medical devices they have approved, and I think it goes back to 1995. I sorted them. You can download the Excel of them. There's like over 500, and it goes back to 1995, like I said. And ones that I particularly like to am interested in are these cardiovascular ones. You'll recognize Apple's atrial fibrillation feature, and there's also some others that you may have heard of, like the AliveCore, Cardia AI, um, and others that you may not have heard of. But actually, the vast majority of this list is from radiology, like imaging, um, which is pretty interesting. There's over almost 400. It's like 4/5 of the whole list is radiology and imaging related. Um, they also have on here good machine learning practice, guiding principles, and let's see, that's here. They talk about like multidisciplinary expertise is leveraged throughout the total product life cycle. Um, Clinical study participants and data sets are representative of the intended patient population. Training data sets are independent of test sets, of course. Users are provided clear, essential information. Anyways, there's 10 of these guiding principles. And they also have an action plan that you may be interested in looking at. And then those were all like from a couple years ago. But in April of 2023, the FDA finally released much anticipated draft guidance for AI enabled machine medical devices that can change, which is a new um, which is like kind of new for FDA because FDA has always been has like software needs to be locked down and can't change. If it does change, then you have to um, do lots of risk analyses and assessments and validation and for basically any change to the software firmware. And so the fact that they're considering and have a plan for um, a predetermined change control is pretty interesting, and a lot of people are interested in this. And so, uh, without further ado, I'm actually going to read this to you, most of it, if I can. We'll see how much I get through. Uh, this might have to turn into a couple of videos or more. It's 43 pages, so we'll see how long we go for this. Um, Again, it was issued April 3rd, 2023. Draft guidance from the FDA. And let me get to the intro. Um, Here we go. Introduction. FDA has a long-standing commitment to develop and apply innovative approaches to the regulation of medical device software and other digital health technologies to ensure their safety and effectiveness. As technology continues to advance, all facets of healthcare medical software incorporating artificial intelligence (AI), and specifically the subset of AI known as machine learning (ML), henceforth referred to as machine learning-enabled device software functions or MLDSFs, has become an important part of many medical devices. This draft guidance is intended to provide a forward-thinking approach to promote the development of safe and effective medical devices that use ML models trained by ML algorithms. ML-enabled technologies have the potential to transform healthcare by deriving new and important insights from the vast amount of data generated during the delivery of healthcare every day. Medical device manufacturers are using ML technologies to innovate their products to better assist healthcare providers and improve patient care. Examples of ML applications in medicine include earlier disease detection and diagnosis, development of personalized diagnostics and therapeutics, and development of assistive functions to improve the use of devices with the goal of improving user and patient experience. FDA recognizes that the development of ML DSFs is an iterative process. This draft guidance proposes a least burdensome approach to support iterative improvement through modifications to an ML DSF, while continuing to provide a reasonable assurance of device safety and effectiveness. As such, this draft guidance demonstrates FDA's broader commitment to developing innovative approaches to the regulation of device software functions as a whole. Oh, good. I'm glad that they are ahead of the game finally, are getting there. Specifically, this draft guidance provides recommendations on the information to be included in a predetermined change control plan (PCCP) provided in a marketing submission for an ML DSF. This draft guidance recommends that a PCCP describe the planned MLDSF modifications, the associated methodology to develop, implement, and validate those modifications, and an assessment of the impact of those modifications. The PCCP is reviewed as part of a marketing submission to ensure the continued safety and effectiveness of the device without necessitating additional marketing submissions for implementing each modification described in the PCCP. In general, FDA's guidance documents do not establish legally enforceable responsibilities. Instead, guidances describe the agency's current thinking on a topic and should be viewed only as recommendations. That's why it says, and it also says draft across the page, unless specific regulatory or statutory requirements are cited. The use of the word should in agency guidances mean that something is suggested or recommended but not required, but you probably should definitely do it or have a good reason for not doing it. Background. In April 2019, FDA published the proposed regulatory framework for modifications to artificial intelligence/machine learning-based software as a medical device. That's something I already mentioned. They called that the SAMD, software as a medical device. Okay, yep. And they also wanted a request for feedback. The 2019 discussion paper describes FDA's foundation for a potential approach to pre-market review of AI ML-driven software modifications. The ideas delineated in the 2019 discussion paper leveraged practices from our current pre-market programs and relied on the International Medical Device Regulators Forum's risk categorization principles, the FDA's benefit risk framework, risk management principles described in the software modifications guidance, and the total product lifecycle approach envisioned in the digital health software pre-certification pre-cert pilot program. ML can allow software to learn through data without being explicitly programmed to perform a task. One of the greatest potential benefits of ML resides in the ability to improve ML model performance through iterative modifications, including by learning from real-world data. To support the iterative development of ML DSFs, and as part of the proposed framework presented in the 2019 discussion paper, FDA described a predetermined change control plan that could be included in a marketing submission for a device that is or includes an MLDSF, referred to interchangeably as an MLDSF or device. Oh, good, thank you. That was getting tiring. Device would be preferable. In this draft guidance, we provide recommendations on the marketing submission content for a PCCP, which generally includes 1. A detailed description of the specific planned device modifications, 2. The associated methodology to develop, validate, and implement those modifications in a manner that ensures the continued safety and effectiveness of the device across relevant patient populations, referred to as modification protocol. And 3. An impact assessment. Again, they love those assessments to describe the assessment of the benefits and risks of the planned modifications and risk mitigations. The 2019 discussion paper received a substantial amount of feedback from a wide array of stakeholders. If you are one of them, why don't you let me know in the comments? That'd be interesting. General comments were received, as well as specific responses to 18 questions posed in the 2019 discussion paper. Additionally, numerous articles in peer-reviewed journals discuss or reference the framework proposed in the 2019 discussion paper. FDA has also held a number of public meetings and workshops on AI/ML topics. On February 25th to 26, 2020, FDA held a public workshop on the evolving role of artificial intelligence in radiological imaging. I guess that was right before COVID hit, and they got that one in. To discuss emerging applications of AI in radiological imaging, including AI devices intended to automate the diagnostic radiology workflow as well as guide image acquisition. At this workshop, the agency worked with interested stakeholders, including patients, to identify both benefits and risks associated with the use of AI in radiological imaging and discussed best practices for the validation of fully automated radiological imaging software and image acquisition devices. Again, like over almost 400 of the AI approved devices have been radiology related. On October 22nd, 2020, FDA held a patient engagement advisory committee meeting. I guess that was online or something during COVID on artificial intelligence and machine learning in medical devices to further elicit input from a diverse group of patients on AI/ML technologies. The committee provided recommendations on AI/ML-enabled medical devices and how to foster patient trust in them, considering the diverse populations in which they are and will be used. On October 14, 2021, FDA held a public workshop on transparency of artificial intelligence machine learning-enabled medical devices for patients, caregivers, and providers. The purpose of the workshop was to 1. Identify unique considerations in achieving transparency for users of AI/ML-enabled medical devices and ways in which transparency might enhance the safety and effectiveness of these devices. And 2. Gather input from various stakeholders on the types of information that would be helpful for manufacturers to include in the labeling and public-facing information of AI/ML-enabled medical devices, as well as other potential mechanisms for information sharing. FDA continues to receive an increasing number of marketing submissions and pre-submissions for devices leveraging ML technologies, and the agency expects this to increase over time. Moreover, since the 2019 discussion paper publication, there has been strong interest in utilizing PCCPs for AI/ML-enabled medical devices. Right. In light of the public health need to facilitate innovation for MLDSFs while providing appropriate oversight for them, on January 12, 2021, the CDRH Digital Health Center of Excellence issued FDA Artificial Intelligence Machine Learning-based software as a medical device action plan, which is what I already mentioned earlier, the action plan. The action plan describes FDA's strategy for addressing AI ML-enabled medical devices in a holistic, collaborative, and multidisciplinary manner. An important pillar of the action plan is the further advancement of the tailored regulatory framework for ML-enabled medical devices that was proposed in the 2019 discussion paper. Further, on October 4th, 2022, the White House released a blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights, which outlined 5 principles that should guide the design, use, and deployment of automated systems. These 5 principles discuss safe and effective systems, algorithmic discrimination protections, data privacy, notice and explanation, and human alternatives, consideration, and fallback. This draft guidance is consistent with and promotes the principles described in the blueprint for an AI Bill of Rights. All right. Additionally, Section 3308 of the Food and Drug Omnibus Reform Act of 2022, Title III of Division FF of the Consolidated Appropriations Act 2023, Publication L number 117 to 328, FDORA, enacted on December 29, 2022, added Section 515C, Predetermined Change Control Plans for Devices to the FD&C Act. Section 515C provides FDA with express authority to approve or clear PCCPs for devices requiring pre-market approval or pre-market notification. For example, Section 515C provides that supplemental applications, Section 515CA, and new pre-market notifications, Section 515CB, are not required for a change to a device that would otherwise require a pre-market approval supplement or new pre-market notification if the change is consistent with the PCCP previously approved or cleared by FDA. Section 515C also provides that FDA may require that a PCCP, including labeling for safe and effective use of a device as such device changes pursuant to such plan, notification requirements if the device does not function as intended pursuant to such plan, and performance requirements for changes made under the plan. In this draft guidance, we provide recommendations on the marketing submission content for PCCPs, which are based on the statute and feedback obtained through our various interactions with stakeholders. Okay, guys, I think that's a good stopping point. I'll break this up into another video, and you can follow along in the playlist. And I appreciate for listening and bearing with me. And if you, yeah, hopefully you're getting something out of this. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye bye.